All right, I totally forgot that I need my mic. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is May 29th, 2023, and lots of news today, starting with Dembele, who has opened up about his future at Barcelona. Raphinha looks like he won't be leaving the club this season. And finally, Xavi has made some statements about the possibility of Leo Messi's return to the club. This is some of the headlines, of course. There's still a lot more news because, again, as always, when it comes to Barcelona, there's always lots of news. This club never stops. So let's begin. As always, we'll do one segment of news and then we'll head to the comment section to get a discussion going. But to all of you in the United States, happy Memorial Day. I really hope you're enjoying this time off with your family and friends. But Barcelona never takes a day off. So let's start with all the Barcelona news. Starting with yesterday, Barcelona defeated Mallorca 3-0 at the Spotify Camp Nou in a good display by the team where they played very cohesively, moved the ball around quick, generated a lot of chances, and as a result, they were able to score those 3 goals. Mark ter Stegen was able to add to his record another clean sheet, making it 26 clean sheets this season. And with no doubt, he will be able to win the Zamora Trophy, which is the trophy that's given to every goalkeeper, to a goalkeeper at the end of the season who has the best ratio as far as matches versus goals conceded. So no doubt Mark ter Stegen will be able to win that trophy at the end of the season. Lewandowski was not able to score any goals, but he's still number one in the Pichichi race for the top scorer of the Spanish league. And Ansu Fati, he scored a brace. Really good goals by Ansu Fati. He still was a little bit undecisive and made some mistakes in that final decision, but nonetheless, it was good to see Ansu Fati end that 30-match drought. Was able to score a brace, and then the third goal was scored by Gabi, which was an absolute brilliant shot. Now, unfortunately, Alejandro Balde was injured during the match. It was a really tough tackle on him by the Mallorca player. And Barcelona have now reported that he has suffered, and I'm going to read this for you because it's a little bit hard to remember, but it's a partial tear of external lateral ligament. He will be out 6 to 7 weeks, which is, of course, unfortunate, but thankfully, this is the end of the season. There's only one match left in this official season. So, fortunately, it won't affect too much. Now, yesterday's match was the last match, home match of the season. It was the last match of Sergio Busquets and Jordi Alba. They both have announced that they will be leaving Barcelona at the end of the season. The club organized a tribute or a farewell for both players. A really beautiful farewell. If you haven't watched it, you can check it out on the FC Barcelona official channel on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, any of their social media accounts. Really beautiful farewell to 2 Barcelona legends, to Sergio Busquets, who's undoubtedly the best pivot in the history of the club, and Jordi Alba, who, again, probably one of the best, if not the best, left back of the club. So it's going to be very sad to see them both leave, but it was really good to see the club organize that farewell for the 2 Barcelona legends. Now, it's already reported that both players are not going to be included in the last match of Barcelona, which is to be played next Sunday. And then after that, Barcelona will be traveling to Japan to play that friendly match against Vissel Kobe, the Japanese side where Andres Iniesta plays. And both players are not going to be included in that match either. So it looks like Jordi Alba and Sergio Busquets have officially played their last match in the Blaugrana jersey. And that, of course, it's the end of a chapter. Those are the 2 remaining members of the golden era of Barcelona. And they have both played their last match with the club. Very sad to see, but at the same time, Matteo Alemania has said that the departure of both players will help the financial fair play rule situation at the club. So at least we'll get that benefit from their departure. As I reported in a previous video, Barcelona think that with the departure of Busquets and Jordi Alba, they will be able to register the contracts of both Gabi and Ronald Araujo, regardless of what happens with the viability plan or the feasibility plan. Now, in the case of Jordi Alba, Saudi Arabia are trying to negotiate with him to see if he can go to the Saudi League. But it's reported that that's not Jordi Alba's plan. He thinks he still has at least 1 or 2 more seasons to still be able to play in Europe. Also, his wife is about to have another child, so he would prefer to stay in Spain or somewhere in Europe where he can, be close to his wife and his kids. He doesn't want to go all the way to Saudi Arabia. So we are going to have to see where Jordi Alba is going to end up. As far as Sergio Busquets, he just made some statements today about his future. He said that he has 3 or 4 offers, that he hasn't made up his mind yet where he's going to be going because he has to discuss it with his family as well, and that he will be making a decision in the next, I think he said 2 or 3 weeks. Yes, I just confirmed it. So in the next 2 or 3 weeks, Sergio Busquets will be making a decision about where he's going to be going. There's 3 or 4 offers. We don't know where he's going to go, but he has confirmed that it's not going to be in Europe. He doesn't want to play against Barcelona. So most likely probably somewhere exotic like Saudi Arabia or the MLS. We will have to wait and see to see where Sergio Busquets is gonna end up. Barcelona not only did say goodbye to Busquets and Jordi Alba yesterday, they also said goodbye to the Spotify Camp Nou, which after 66 years will be closed for the entire next season, and it's gonna undergo major renovations, total facelift, which it was definitely time for it. The stadium was really old. I had the honor and the privilege of going watching a match during this season back in March against Valencia, and it's definitely a stadium that needs to be rehabbed because it's very, very old, and that's exactly what's going to happen. And in fact, Barcelona are not missing any time. They've already started works today officially, so they're going to be working on it starting today, all through the summer, all through next season, and then Barcelona will be able to play at the Spotify Camp Nou once again, starting in the 2024-2025 seasons. The stadium's not going to be done by then. They will be able to play in it, but the stadium is still going to be undergoing work, just like the Santiago Bernabeu, where it was closed for a season and underwent most major renovations. And now Real Madrid are playing in it, but the stadium is still not complete. Same thing with the Spotify Camp Nou. Which will be increasing its capacity from, I think, 99,000 to 110,000 people, if I'm not mistaken, which is, of course, will mean more money for the club through ticket sales and other things that stadiums generate, like concerts, sale of merchandise, etc., etc. Let's head back to the comment section, see what you guys are saying, and then we'll talk about the next news, which is about the feasibility plan. A little bit of update there. But let's see what you guys are saying first. Ricardo says Ansu was on fire. Yes, 2 great goals. I wouldn't say on fire. He still made some questionable decisions in that final touch. You can still say that Ansu Fati hasn't fully regained his confidence yet. But 2 great goals. But he still needs. He's still not there yet. I wouldn't say he was on fire, but good game nonetheless. Mohammed Isaac says, "Hello Mo. I'm just waiting for your live before I went to sleep because it's late here in Saudi Arabia." Thank you, Muhammad, for joining the live stream. Just out of curiosity, what time is it in Saudi? If you could drop it in the comment. Dark Knight, always here, present from Kansas City, says, "I'm beginning to doubt that Messi arrival, given Blender with his dad is leaning towards Messi's campus running out of patience with Barca and La Liga." I do have news about Messi, so stick around. So definitely there's news there. One more comment, and then we'll go back. Reform says, "I heard FCB received 2 offers for update, and one of them is worth 35 million. No official offers for update. Lots of interest. So we'll have to see once those official offers come in. Okay, let's talk about the feasibility plan real quick, and then we'll head back to the chat section. Feasibility plan, Matteo Alemani has given statements or an update about what's going on with the feasibility plan. Again, just a quick recap. The feasibility plan, it's a plan that Barcelona has presented to La Liga where they commit to reducing their expenses, reducing their spending, kind of like these austerity measures where the club are going to be, offloading players in the summer to reduce the wage bill. They're going to be slashing the salaries of some players, again, to reduce their wage bill. They're going to be cutting the budget. They're going to be all that to reduce their expenses while at the same time increasing their revenue through new sponsored deals. And in exchange, La Liga would allow Barcelona a little bit more flexibility this summer to try to sign players and also give them more time to reduce their wage bill by 200 million euros, which Barcelona realized it was impossible to achieve this at the beginning of the summer transfer market. So with this viability plan and with everything that Barcelona are committing to, La Liga would give the club a little bit more time to reduce their wage bill by 200 million euros. And Barcelona have been waiting for the approval of this feasibility plan for quite some time. It hasn't arrived. La Liga has been kind of delaying it, requesting for more and more proof, more and more evidence that Barcelona will be able to meet all the goals that they have set out in the viability plan. But now Matteo Alemany has given an update saying that he thinks that La Liga will be approving this viability plan in the next 10 days, probably by next week at the latest. And of course, as soon as that viability plan is approved, then Barcelona will be allowed to register the contracts of Gavi, Ronald Araujo, Sergio Roberto, Marcos Alonso, and Alejandro Valde, whose contract renewal is complete. Then Barcelona will also be able to renew the contract of Ousmane Dembele, and then again will be able to make the several signings that Barcelona are planning for the summer transfer market. Now, just because the viability plan has not been approved yet, it doesn't mean that the club are not hard at work with everything, with all the goals that they need to achieve. Alemany and Deco and even Cruyff, because he's still not gone. They've been working day and night to try to get everything in order. That way, as soon as the viability plan is approved, and Barcelona can get everything done rather than wait for the viability plan to be approved and then start getting the work done, because, of course, signing, offloading players, that takes a lot of work. So the club is hard at work to try to achieve everything in the viability plan. That way, as soon as it's approved officially by La Liga, everything can be met. Now, as part of the viability plan, as I just mentioned, is to offload several players come this summer. And the club, of course, have decided to offload Ansu Fati, Ferran Torres, Frank Kessie, and Pablo Torre. Now, in the case of Ansu Fati, he's probably the only player that might be able to survive being offloaded. Maybe Barcelona could change their mind and keep him. But as far as the other three, they're for sure being offloaded. Ansu Fati, the club would rather, they want to offload him, but at the same time, they feel kind of bad about it because he is a product of La Masia. He was supposed to be the next best thing. So he's the only player who could stay. But again, this doesn't mean that he's going to stay. The plans are still that if the club do receive a big offer for him, he will be offloaded. Ferran Torres, no way he'll be staying. He will be offloaded for sure, whether it's on a permanent transfer now or or on the loan with an option to buy later. He hasn't lived up to the expectations. So Ferran Torres is definitely on the chopping block. No other way about it. Frank Kessie, Xavi likes him, would like to keep him. But of course, given the financial situation of the club, they understand that Frank Kessie is someone that needs to be offloaded. He arrived as a free agent. So his sale would be pure profit. And then he does have a good market value in the Serie A and in the Premier League. So this is an opportunity for Barcelona to make 40 million euros of pure profit of someone who has spent most of the season on the bench and most likely will spend a lot of time on the bench next season as well. In the case of Pablo Torre, of course, he's not going to be offloaded permanently. The plan is for Barcelona to send him out on loan. They want him to play a full season in the first division so he can continue developing, continue growing. And then from there, the club will see if he ends up having a great loan. Then Barcelona will take him back. And if not, then they might end up offloading him. But of course, that's a conversation for next summer. For now, the plan is to of course, to send Pablo Torre on loan. So that's the news about the feasibility plan. Expected to be approved by next week. And once that's approved, then Barcelona will start moving things around. But for now, the club are getting ready, are working hard to put everything in place. So as soon as they get the green light, everything can be supported. Let's head back to the comment section, and then we'll talk next about Ousmane Dembele and his future at Barcelona. Okay, let's see. Where did we leave off? Sintu says, Mo, I've watched Amrabat recently. I'm not impressed. He's not Barcelona material. He's more like Atletico Madrid material for me. Good point, Sintu. Amrabat has actually fallen down the pecking order in the list. Barcelona, Xavi's main objective is Subimendi. If Barcelona think they can get Kimmich would be number one, of course, with Subimendi right after him. And Amrabat has fallen down the order, I think, to 3 or 4. So right now, he's not a priority. So we'll have to see what Barcelona can pull off as far as the pivot position. Let's see. Where else? A man says, Koundé going to Liverpool. No, Koundé's not going anywhere. He's staying in Barcelona. Sintu says, Mo, be honest, is Alonso good enough for Barcelona? I don't think Alonso is good enough as a starting player. I think he's someone who's good enough to be on the bench. Someone to rotate with, someone you can have him play. The matches like the Copa del Rey matches, maybe matches of La Liga against smaller teams. That way to give rest to Alejandro Balde, and then Balde could play the big matches, whether it's the Champions League or against bigger opponents in La Liga. I don't mind having Marcos Alonso on the bench. He's someone who works hard, keeps his head down, doesn't complain, takes whatever he can get. And at the end of the day, he has plenty of experience. He's a specialist in free kicks and corner kicks. I haven't, a lot of people complain about him. I don't think his performance has been, bad. It hasn't been exceptional. Like you don't watch Marcos Alonso say, "Oh my God, this guy's amazing," but he's also has been as bad as people want to make it out to be. He does his job. So again, I would have him as a rotational player, against smaller opponents, Copa del Rey, and then have Balde for the big moments. One more comment, and then we'll talk about Dembele and his future at Barcelona. Now, Need says, any update on Alemany? What do you mean, any update on Alemany? There's not much to say about Alemany. He's staying until his contract expires in 2024. Not much to say there in that arena. Sintu says, can we sign players who can at least cost 60 million without the feasibility plan? Without the feasibility plan, we can't sign anyone. Without the feasibility plan, Barcelona will be placed under the 1-4 rule, which means for every euro the club makes, they can only use 25 cents of that euro to sign players. So if the club, makes 1 billion euros, they'll only be able to use 400, I guess, for signing. But that's talk about profits, which of course that's not how much the club would profit. I think the club's profit for this year were estimated at 80 million or 100 million. I can't remember. So out of the 100 million, they would only be able to use 25 million to sign, which in today's market, that's not good enough for anyone unless it's someone who's in their 30s at the end of their career. So without the feasibility plan, Barcelona cannot sign anyone. Okay, let's see. Let's get back to the news. Let's talk about Dembele and his future about Barcelona. As I reported in yesterday's video, Dembele has been once again linked to PSG. Supposedly, Mbappe wants Dembele on the team, and PSG are willing to, to bring Dembele to PSG, kind of like to please Mbappe. We all know Mbappe pretty much runs that club. I don't want to say club, more like a circus, but Dembele has been linked with PSG once again. Of course, his contract expires in the summer of 2024. Barcelona are working on renewing his contract. And today, after all those reports linking Dembele to PSG, he has spoken out in an interview about his future. And he said, and I quote, "My big dream is to win a Champions League with Barca. Winning a trophy with the club you love is the best. I've been a Barca fan since I was little. I've always been a fan of this team. I feel very good here, and I hope to become a great player here." So there, Dembele is closing the door on a possibility, of going to PSG or in any other club. He wants to remain in Barcelona. He's happy in Barcelona. He likes all the trust that Xavi has put in him. Xavi, of course, considers Dembele a fundamental piece of his team. He wants him to stay. So the club will be working these upcoming weeks with Dembele's agent, Moussa Sissoko, to renew the contract of the player. I know a lot of you said on the comment section that we should cash out on Dembele, that we should sell him for 80 million euros, etc. Guess what? You can't. Dembele has a 50 million euro release clause. So if you tell a club, hey, I want you to pay 80, they're going to say, well, why would I want to pay 80 when his release clause is 50? I'll just pay the 50 and take him. And the way his contract is written, that means the release clause will be split in half, with Barcelona only getting 25 million and Dembele getting the other 25 million. So the most we can make of the sale of Dembele would be 25 million euros, which is, of course, not a lot. So no, we cannot cash out on Dembele like many people have suggested. Plus, why would you? He's the only player on the team who can produce, danger in the 1v1 situations. His injuries are unfortunate, but he has gotten better. He's the reason why he was injured so much in the past seasons is his indiscipline. He was known for staying out late, going to party, eating junk food, playing video games until like really late hours of the night. He's once with the I don't know what Xavi has done, but with under Xavi, he's become a lot more disciplined. With his diet, with his sleeping, no more going out, no more playing video games. So he has been doing a lot better as far as that. And we saw that because even though he was injured for 3 months, starting in January, from August to January, he stayed healthy. So he's just starting to, kind of get in the rhythm of discipline, of taking care of himself. So who knows, maybe next season he'll be able to stay even healthier. And again, even in those few months that he was healthy, he was able to generate a lot of danger on the flank. He's a dynamic player. He's the only one who can do the things that he does on that side of the field. So I wouldn't want to get rid of him. And again, even if we wanted to, the most we can make is 25 million euros, which is not worth it. Okay, so let's go back to the comment section, and then we'll talk about Raphinha next. And let's see, where did we leave off? Anthony says, are there any players that you are losing hope in, but hopefully make a comeback? That's a good question. I think I've lost hope in Raphinha. I hope he proves me wrong, and next season, he can do better. But Raphinha is someone who's disappointed me a lot. He was sold to us as he's gonna be, the next big star. The Jogo Bonito, was back in Barcelona. That's what Laporta says. Jogo Bonito's back in Barcelona. We didn't see any of that all season. He cannot dribble past anyone. He cannot create any danger in 1v1 situation. All he does is send cross after cross after cross into the box. So very disappointed with Raphinha, especially since he cost us 60 million euros. If this was someone that we brought to the club for 20, maybe 30 million euros, I'm like, all right, fine. He's fine as a substitute. He can come off of the bench, maybe send a few crosses that could result in a goal or two. But, when they sold it to us as this big star who cost 60 million euros, who was going to be that differential player, the guy who gets on the field and, can change the outcome of a match, and he wasn't. And hopefully he can prove me wrong. Hopefully this, he hasn't performed because it's his first season. Maybe next season he'll be better. I'm really hoping that. But Raphinha is definitely one. Ansu Fati, unfortunately, for the longest time, I wanted, for Ansu Fati to recover his form, to get back onto it. But I'm just not seeing it, Besides the 2 goals that he scored yesterday's match, every match that Ansu Fati plays, you don't even remember that he's there until the commentator mentions his name. And you're like, oh, yeah, that's right. He's playing. He's on the field because he's a complete ghost. So I think I'm starting to lose my hope, my faith in Ansu Fati. One more comment, and then we'll keep going to talk about Raphinha since I just mentioned him. Let's see. Rafe says, I'm tired of Ferran. He's only good for Spain, but not for Barca. He should be sold. That's the plan. Ferran will be for sure offloaded. Dark Knight says, Mo, in my opinion, signing Cancelo and a decent pivot and Alba is sufficient to get us to semi-final of Europe. I don't know if just those three. Cancelo will be a great in the right back position. A pivot, we do need one. I think we still need an interior because we need more creativity in the midfield, which is what we're lacking. Alba, I wouldn't sign him for, even if they paid us to sign him. He's 34 years old. He hasn't played a full season, the whole season. Why would you want to bring a 34-year-old to be the substitute of another 34-year-old? It doesn't make sense. I think our goal should be Vitor Roque. No doubt about it. He's the future. We should bring him over. All right, let's talk about Raphinha, because Raphinha, there's a lot of talks about, Barcelona wanting to offload him, and if they get a good price, that they should do it. It's been confirmed Raphinha will not be offloaded this summer. Apparently, the club have met with the Brazilian, and they have communicated to him that they have no intentions of offloading him, that they're very happy with his performance, that they consider his signing a good one, and that they're not going to be offloading him this summer. Raphinha has communicated to the club back that he is very happy in Barcelona. He's very happy with the city itself, that he wants to stay in Barcelona, and that he will reject any offers that he gets because he wants to succeed in Barcelona, and he feels like he can become, a great a great asset for the club. So neither Barcelona nor the player have an intention of parting ways. So Raphinha will be staying in the club despite several weeks of rumors and news stories saying that Barcelona were looking to offload Raphinha. They were looking to make money off him. That's not going to happen. He will be staying put at the club. But of course, Barcelona haven't received any official offers. So I think, in my opinion, and this is not news, this is just my opinion, I think if Barcelona do receive a big offer for him, like 80, 90 million euros, I think that might change the story. I know Barcelona right now are saying they don't want to offload him, but I think if they do receive something like 80, 90 million euros, that might change the dynamics, and they might have to rethink this. Because again, Barcelona need to make as much money as possible this summer, not just for the feasibility plan, but also to make up the 100 million euros that they're going to lose next season from their move to the Camp Nou, to the Olympic Stadium in Montjuic. But of course, this is just me, guessing or giving you my opinion for now. What we know for sure is that the club have told Raphinha that they have no intentions of offloading him, and Raphinha has said to the club back, and I have no intentions of leaving either. So for now, what's for sure is that Raphinha is not going anywhere, and he will be on the team next season. Let's head back to the comment section, and we'll talk about Messi, because there's a little bit of update there. Right now, I see 55 people watching, but only 16 likes. Do me guys a favor, hit that like button so you can help this channel continue to grow. I really, really would appreciate it. Okay, where did we leave? Let's see. Hamad says, is Dembele going to PSG? No, he's not. He's staying in Barcelona. Adedoyan says, why is La Liga delaying with a plan? Not sure. They keep asking for more and more proof. I mean, I get it. If they're going to kind of bend the rules for Barcelona a little bit, allow them that flexibility to sign players where they're not supposed to be signing, then, you're going to want guarantees that the club are going to meet everything they're going to meet. Because at the end of the day, the feasibility plan is a contract, right? Barcelona are saying we are committing to A, B, C, D, and in exchange, La Liga would give them more, flexibility to work this summer. So it's a contract, and when you sign a contract, you want to make sure that the other party is gonna perform their side. And so I understand why La Liga would want more and more assurances, because again, this is a contract, and you have to be sure that the other side is gonna perform. Okay. Reform says Raphinha did good. 22 goal contribution isn't nothing. He saved FCB a lot, especially in those 1-0 games. I mean, numbers don't happen in a vacuum. If you look at the numbers, sure, you can think, okay, yeah, he did well. I think he only scored like 7 goals in La Liga, if I'm not mistaken. I always use this example, but Braithwaite has scored 9, or actually 10 now. So is that really a good number? I don't think so. For a Barcelona winger to score only 7 goals in La Liga, I don't think it's a good number. But regardless, if you look at his assists, how many crosses does Raphinha send into the box that eventually become a goal? I mean, dozens and dozens per match. Obviously, you're eventually going to get one of those that's going to hit someone's head and is going to become a goal. Does that mean he's good? I mean, you can get anyone from La Masia, any 16, 17-year-old who costs you nothing, and just have them send crosses into the box all day, and I guarantee you they will end up with 10 assists or 11 assists, because it's a numbers game, right? You send 20, 30 crosses into the box every match across all season. I mean, you're talking about hundreds of crosses. Eventually, someone is going to push that ball in. Does that mean you're a great assist provider, that you're a great player? I wouldn't say so. So just looking at the numbers is not really a good way of just determining whether a player is good or not. Again, Braithwaite has way more goals than Raphinha in La Liga. Does that mean he's better? Of course not. Braithwaite is not even at the level of Raphinha or even in the same conversation. So numbers alone is not good enough indicator. You have to look at the performance in the player. And again, I don't see it. But maybe he'll prove me wrong. Hopefully he'll prove me wrong and he'll be able to perform next season better. But just saying goal contributions doesn't mean that he's a good player. Okay, let's look at more comments and then we'll talk about Leo Messi. Adama says, Mo, I totally disagree with you concerning Raphinha. He has more goals than Dembele this season. Again, I just talked about it. So, Let's see. Muhammad says, yes, I don't want him to go as will become of Dembele injured and it helps us a lot. I'm guessing you're talking about Raphinha. Let's see. What else? Sintu says, if Messi comes, I don't think Gabi will play a lot of games. Okay, so let's talk about Messi since you brought him up. Okay, so Xavi has been asked about Messi. You know, there's been talks about weeks and weeks how Messi wants to come back. Barcelona want him back. Barcelona are working on bringing him back. So finally, Xavi was asked, as always, you know, what he thought about whether Messi's going to be coming back or not. And Xavi said that he has no doubts that this can happen. And then to quote exactly what he says, Xavi said, we're going to talk to him, referring to Messi and his representatives. I think Leo has the upper hand. There is no doubt. Yes, it's true that we've already won in the post-Messi era, and that has extraordinary merit. It's extraordinary. It's not valued anyway, but the fear that we had was when Leo leaves, what are we going to do? While Barca has survived, I think we have rebuilt the team and the group very well, and this league title and the Super Cup have spectacular merit. Without the best player in the history of football in this club has much merit. It's difficult to be in the skin of someone who has won it all. I'm not in his head, but I've been very clear about my relationship with him. We have the doors wide open, and if he wants to come, I mean, no doubt that it can happen and he would help us, but it's up to him. It's his personal choice. So again, Barcelona taking the same exact position, saying, yes, we want Leo Messi back. Yes, the doors are wide open for him to come back, but it's all up to him. And on the other hand, you know, Leo Messi's entourage is leaking to the media that he wants to come back, but that it's up to Barcelona. So for now, no one is willing to say, yes, this is going to happen or it's not going to happen. Everybody is just kind of like, I don't want to say blaming, but pretty much putting it on the other person, like, oh, it's up to you. No, it's up to you. I think it's all part of the plan of Messi, you know, telling Barcelona not to make any definitive statements because he does have a contract until June 30th with PSG. So he doesn't want to anger them. You know, we've already seen how PSG have treated him. So I think for now, it's, you know, we're just going to have to wait and see. Nothing is definitive. But as I reported previously, if Messi does come back, economists are estimating that he would generate 250 million euros in revenues for Barcelona per season. So, of course, I would love to see Messi back, not just from because he's our biggest legend, our best player in the history, but also because what it would mean for the club, economically speaking. He would be a huge injection of cash to the club, which then Barcelona could take that money and use it to continue rebuilding the team, to continue rebuilding the club's finances. So I would love to see Messi back, but again, we don't know if it's going to happen. For now, it's just going to be a waiting game with both parties wanting to you know, resume relationship, but none of the parties willing to say for sure what's going to happen. All right, that's it for the news. So we have several more minutes. So let's see what you guys are saying, and then we'll wrap this up. Let's see. Estada says Raphinha will explode next season. I hope so. Again, I have nothing against Raphinha. It's not like I want him to fail just so I can say I was right. It's the opposite. I want him to prove me wrong. I want him to do good, because if he does good, that means the team does good. And why wouldn't I want my team to do good? So I hope he proves me wrong. I haven't been impressed this season, but let's all hope that he does great next season and that he ends up exploding. Because again, if he does good, the team does good. Nima says, as long as Raphinha is a backup, I got no problem with him. Yeah, I think he's more of a backup. So I think he is more of a backup player, someone who can come off the bench and contribute. But my problem with that is that he costs 60 million euros. So I don't know if I'm comfortable with a 60 million euro sub. Because again, like I said earlier a few minutes ago, had we signed Raphinha for 20, 30 million euros, I would have been like, all right, why? His performance is good enough for me. He can be on the bench. He can come off, substitute Dembele. But when you think about how we spent 60 million euros, that's when I have problems with him being just a substitute. Prince says it's actually dangerous. Gabi is playing every game, but Pedri is suffering now. I agree. Gabi needs some time off. We can't keep playing him 90 minutes of every single match, of every single championship. You know, look what happened to Pedri. We need to take better care of Gavi and Pedri, of course. Nima says he's better than Dembele in making runs behind the defense line and receiving through air balls. He adds more to the team in that regard. If you're talking about Raphinha, I haven't seen Raphinha make any runs behind the defense line. As soon as Raphinha is confronted by defenders, he stops. He makes a back pass, a side pass, or sends a cross in. Or tries to dribble and then loses the ball. I haven't seen, maybe he's done maybe one or two successful runs to the back line, but not very often. Let's see, what else? Istada says Messi arrived last night to Coldplay concert in Barcelona. Well, French League made a ceremony for Mbappe. They play him the song, I used to run the world. So yeah, Messi was in Barcelona. He was there for a Coldplay concert. Actually, the concert was at the Olympic Stadium of Montjuic, which is, if Messi comes back, that's where he will be playing next season. He's still in the city of Barcelona today. He was seen eating at a restaurant. You know, some media outlets want to make a big hype out of him still being in Barcelona, saying, oh, he's meeting with the club. I don't think so. Again, Messi's home is still in Barcelona. He has family there. He has friends there. He always goes to Barcelona. So him being in the city of Barcelona is not really, news because he's always there anyway. Dark Knight says, I want Messi to return because of the revenue he will bring and his touch of magic. I don't think bringing Messi back guarantees trophies next season. I don't think it's a guarantee, but it definitely helps. Can you imagine? Okay, so Lewandowski has been able to score, how much are we at? 30-something goals in all competitions, 35, something like that. With Ferran Torres, with Ansu Fati, with Raphinha, and with an injured Dembele. Can you imagine how many goals he would be able to score if you got Messi assisting him versus, Ferran Torres or Ansu Fati? Oof, it would be insane. So I don't think it would be a guarantee. Nothing can guarantee you trophies, but I think it would be a big, big boost. Let's see. Grandmaster Yoda, what's up, man? You joined. You made it. Grandmaster says, what's up, Mo? Do you think we should send Ferran on loan? The only reason I would send him on loan is just for his amortization. Because, Ferran has only been at the club for a season and a half. We bought him for 55 million euros. So his amortization is not there yet. So we have to sell him for 40 million euros or more in order not to incur a loss. So I would only send Ferran Torres on loan so he can spend another season as a Barcelona player technically, and his amortization, can be better. And that way we can sell him for a better price, but not to send him on loan with the hopes that he would come back. I think Ferran Torres had his chance. He didn't prove it. He's done. So that's the only reason I would send him on loan, just so, improve his amortization and improve his price, and that's it. Okay, what else? Let's see. Anthony says, do you think Real will be tougher with rumored signings? I think Real Madrid is going to be scary next season. They're going to redo their whole midfield, bring in Jude Bellingham. There's even talks that they're going to go after Alphonso Davies. Their midfield is going to be scary. And they have a lot of young talent. Their whole front, with Vinicius exploding this season, with Rodrigo doing his thing, with Valverde. Now they're going to redo their whole midfield. They have pretty young defenders too. Camavinga, Tchouaméni, with the best goalkeeper in the world, Courtois. They're going to look scary next season, but, we have to trust that we can beat them. All right. Mark says, how can we set a deadline for Gundogan if we only want him or Messi, but prefer Messi and still wait for La Liga? Well, because we need to know, right? If we prefer Messi or not, we need to know what the stance of each player is before we can pick or choose. Ross says, Salams Mo, love your show. San Diego, California here. I think we should get Cancelo, especially since I heard he is now 40 mil. So I do like Cancelo as a player. I think he's one of the best right backs in the world. I think he would do phenomenal in Barcelona because they have the same system as Manchester City under Pep Guardiola. My only fear with Cancelo is that he would cause problems in the locker room. Because, again, as one of the best right backs in the world, Pep Guardiola has decided, I don't want anything to do with this guy. So, obviously, it's not a sporting issue because he is one of the best. So, it's probably an attitude issue where Pep Guardiola doesn't want him. And then he went to Bayern Munich. Same thing. was not able to, win a starting spot on Bayern Munich under not just one, but two coaches, not under Nagelsmann and under Tuchel. So now we're talking about three coaches who don't want to start him, despite him being one of the best right backs in the world. Tells you there's obviously something there with his attitude, because it's obviously not a sporting thing because he's one of the best. So my fear would be that he would come to Barcelona and ruin the dynamics of the locker room, especially because Xavi has done such an excellent job of unifying the team. We've seen it all this season. The team has become really, really close, very well knit. And the last thing I want is for someone to come and just, drop a bomb and ruin that dynamic, no matter how good they are. So as a player, yes, I'm a huge fan of Cancelo. As a person, I don't know, because we're never going to know exactly what happens behind closed doors. But from what we can see, I think there's something there. Otherwise, why would Pep Guardiola say no to him? Why would Tuchel say no? Why will Nagelsmann say no? Okay. Grandmaster Yoda says, what do you think of the Champions League pots next season so far? I don't know. What are you asking? Are you mean it's talking about pods as far as like what teams? I mean, Champions League is a Champions League. It's always, it's the best of each league. It's always difficult. And I think we can say much until the groups are chosen. Okay, Nee says, this is Nee watching live from Ghana. What's up, Nee? All right, one more comment because, oh my God, we're at 41 minutes. Mohammed says Newcastle is interested in Raphinha. Yes, they are. But again, club don't want to offload him and he doesn't want to leave anywhere. So Raphinha is staying put. Rafe says Mo Ferran came Barcelona only for Luis Enrique's daughter. Probably. Anthony Bustamante says, loving the fact that we won't get Bayern next year. I mean, I think Bayern are going to have a lot of problems next year. A lot of players are unhappy with the whole firing of Nagelsmann and hiring of Tuchel. They just fired Oliver Kahn. Very happy for that because he spent all summer talking crap about Barcelona. I really was hoping that Dortmund would win, honestly, the Bundesliga because, the whole summer Bayern Munich were talking crap about Barcelona, how they're broke, how they don't understand how they can sign Lewandowski, that they're not going to be able to, that they don't understand why Lewandowski would want to go to Barcelona when he's obviously winning everything with Bayern. So I think had Bayern not won the Bundesliga and ended the season trophyless, I think then Lewandowski would have been like, well, here you go. If I had stayed, I wouldn't have won anything. In Barcelona, I won 2 trophies. But, Dortmund, you can always count on them to choke. That's their specialty. I think they should change their logo to, a man choking. To be more proper because that's what they do. That's what they're best at, is choking. Okay. I think that's it, guys. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. I will see you in tomorrow's video. And as always, Visca Barça. Have a good night.